When it comes to versatility, the first watches that comes to mind are divers or field watches. But is it possible for a dress watch to be as versatile? Well, the Santura Novus would try to make a case for that, and here's how they're able to do it. Recently, Mike from This Watch That Watch spoke about the enigmatic definition and appeal of dress watches. It's often an odd watch to categorize because, frankly, almost no one seemed to be able to define this type of watch. In fact, it's rather odd that we define these watches based on an event or occasion rather than its function. You don't remark, the Speedy Mark II is my favorite between the table and toilet watch. Watch pirates are a weird bunch, but not that weird. The Santura Novus kinda has that weird punch to it, but still safely falls on the dressy side of the books. It also fell nicely on my 6 and a quarter inch wrist. I have no doubt that many of you will appreciate this case dimension. It sits light and comfortable as expected with these uncomplicated pieces. The movement is also very easy to operate, being a time-only watch. After unscrewing the crown, you can immediately wind this Miyota 9039 caliber. What's not mentioned often anymore is that this is a high-frequency watch at 28,000 beats per hour, producing a nice sweeping seconds hand. It doesn't have a terribly small crown as it may appear from all of the promo shots. I think it's proportioned well enough for this case design. As you flip the watch over, you'll see some convenient features that foreshadows its odd nature. This uses straps that has quick-release spring bars, making it easy to switch straps. And ease, I think, is one thing that could define this watch as it can easily transition from dressy with this generic leather strap to a more rugged band like this Artem Silkcloth strap. I frequently attribute versatility to tool watches, but it's quite surprising that this dressy watch can also pull off the same trick. With its monochromatic dial, it's easy to complement it with a textured and padded strap like this one. The case may be a little bit too thin to give this a manly impression, but it still works all because of those blocky lugs. You can give it an even more casual appearance with this striped NATO strap. Now, it transforms from dressy watch to casual watch with one quick installation. Do keep in mind that the lug holes are a little too close to the case wall, which makes it a challenge for thicker NATOs to pass through. I just love that orange accent as it matches the text and seconds tip. On an aftermarket metal bracelet, the look really gets elevated. It really reminds me of an elegant formal watch from Longines, not yet a sponsor. Happily, one of the Kickstarter stretch goals is a metal bracelet, so you can make it happen with your crowdfunding support. Lastly, on a more neutral tone loopless strap, the impression now becomes even more premium as the quality of the strap raises the bar a little higher. The shiny and polished surfaces make for an amazing combo with its finely textured Artem strap. It's a pleasant treat to see such a simple watch be so versatile. It really challenges the conventional impression for a dress watch. But then again, many will argue that this is not actually a dress watch at all because of its dial. This dial is rather uncommon as I only found 2 examples in the store to compare it to. Against the Tissot Gentleman, the resemblance is clear as both have this metallic sunray dial. It's also priced similarly, but this Tissot uses a quartz movement opposed to the automatic caliber of the Nobis. And of course, the Gentleman is slightly thinner, but I'm sure that many would choose the Nobis over this Swiss piece simply because of the automatic movement. That's not to say that it's better, it's just the more popular choice for enthusiasts. On the strap department though, the clear winner is Tissot, leaving behind the rather bland strap from Nobis. That is then flipped over on the dial side as the Nobis here has the more interesting dial construction. The tapered lugs here of the Gentleman creates a wider and bigger impression, further emphasizing its 2mm advantage. The Nobis on the other hand wears compact and thin because of those thinner lugs and equally thin case sides. There's a common impression that thinner is dressier, thus making it more elegant. Although that's not always true, this Santura firmly makes a case for it. Take this new Longines Conquest for example. This can easily be lumped in with the dressy and sporty categories, but its elegance is mainly on the finishing and not on the proportions. From the sides, you can definitely discern which is the thinner of the two, considering both are automatic movements. However, from the back, As much as Santura tried to put on a good fight with its semi-open display, we can clearly see which one is backed by the Swatch Group. And I'm fairly certain as well that you'll pay a higher price to enjoy it. Yes, it's a signature of this channel to make some foolish claims and unfair comparisons. But when it comes to justifying these alternatives, I'm just glad that we have some examples that we can literally compare these watches to. Here, if you ever had the urge to look for a monochromatic dial and case watch, Longines, Tissot, and Santura are really good places to start. Some of you also had some points to say about the Santura Novus. Fellow thinks that it's a winner even though the buckle is not the best match. Sunwill says that the quality is there and the price is worth it. Gary Chow also thinks that the buckle didn't flow with the watch design. And finally, Mr. Vico is reminded of classic 70s Seiko with this tastefully done watch. Santura meticulously incorporated several classic elements of a dress watch to achieve this elegant profile. First are these beautiful polished surfaces of the bezel. As much as this is a scratch magnet, it also delivers all of the gorgeous light play along with these thin chamfers. These thin flowing lines breaks up the brush surfaces to create a pleasing contrast along the case. Manufacturing-wise, this is a cost-effective technique that delivers a lot of enjoyment. The area that really could have used some more funding is this generic leather strap and stock buckle. For many first-time watch buyers, this would have been a more than welcome component. But if you're a seasoned watch pirate, you've seen this buckle as often as Uncle Theodore in the local bar. Thankfully, they offered this with a quick release mechanism that multiplies its usability. The lining and construction of this strap is solid, which is a plus to this upstart brand. The strongest suit of this Novus is really this multi-part dial. The stepped rehaut is a very good design choice that makes this dial really interesting to look at. See, this metallic sunray finish is very similarly toned against the rehaut and shiny case. The rehaut being matte finished and having all of these prints beautifully restrains the eye-catching dial without drawing an obvious hard line. To avoid monotony, Santura added these orange accents that is noticeable but clearly not meant to draw too much attention. What I really love the most is this great dimensionality between the dial, rehaut, and indexes. There's so much volume projected here with these obvious raised elements even though there's very shallow space. The proportions are intentional and well balanced. It ultimately says a lot more about the designer and his eye for detail. Some of the smaller details are these rounded parts of the markers. It's a small attempt to infuse sophistication to the dial that can be divisive at worst. But to me, it's a welcome distraction against all of these imposing applied markers. Another great feature of these markers is that there's more than enough surface area for lume to be applied. Couple that with a shiny dial and you get this amazing lume effect being reflected under the skeletonized hands and over the dial. Pretty cool. Truth be told, lume won't last you a good pint of Guinness, but definitely noticeable more than your typical sleeve tucker. From the back, Centura also puts on the effort by adding a semi-decorated window that offsets the rather plain Miyota rotor. Production-wise though, I would add a decorated or skeletonized rotor, even if it would add an extra $15 or $20 on the cost. Jason, founder of Santura, exhibits a good design sensibility and it shows with Santura's debut offering. Even the watch pirates like me who have stolen countless watches are not fooled by these cost-saving shenanigans, it's still able to grab my heart and excite me with its solid design choices. Choices that made it a surprisingly versatile dress watch at a really affordable price. Hopefully, there's enough support for the Novus to break through its Kickstarter stretch goals so that everybody can enjoy that deployant and bracelet options. Dress watches are indeed hard to define as more and more watches are worn on every occasion. And no matter what occasion you're crashing into, it's always good to know that the Novus was designed to fit that moment. And that is the Santura Novus. I'm pleasantly surprised at how this watch turned out. I thought it was a much more lighter silvery dial, but it turned out to be a really chromed out dial that almost looks like the same material as the case, and I love that. I love that aesthetic. It's very simple, it's clean, and also all of the indexes and the hardware in the dial just makes it pop out even more. I love this design, and I think it's it's an understated or a sleeper hit when it comes to their collection. They have other colors too, but I think this is the one that would really capture your attention even more, because the other ones, let's be honest, are a little bit more common, and I think this is the more striking and the more interesting of the bunch. Of course, it's not perfect. The strap could use some more quality in there, and yeah, that buckle doesn't really fit the design of the case. I wish it was a little bit more, there's a little bit more hard edge to it. You could even see that there's a difference when it comes to finishing, but aside from that, it's a very versatile watch, as you've seen with the initial strap options that I threw it in. And hey, it's really affordable, guys, and I think the quality is punching above its weight here. So, what do you think about the Santura Novus? Do you agree with my comments? Do you see also the minimalist design and how they effectively use some really budget friendly when it comes to production area of the watch, some really budget friendly styles to this, and manage to create an interesting dial there? So, what do you think? Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think, and let's discuss in our next other few videos.